Am I stuck or am I programmed? What's going on, Secoya Nation? This is Dr. Schilling bringing you today's daily insights, and I'm going to touch on a subject here that is not known to many people. So you might not understand the idea of being programmed, but this is not the Matrix, so I'm not talking about that kind of scenario. But I came across a quote today by Emily Marushin, I think her name is, Marushin, something like that, that I took a bit of an issue with because it sounds like it's just you got to think your way out of it. If you're stuck, you just got to think your way out of it, and it's way more unique and challenging and complicated than that, if you will. So her concept is that you're not stuck. You're just committed to certain patterns of behavior because they've helped you in the past. So there's some truth to that, because the patterns we're in, we've learned how to adapt to the world. But the challenge is, it's not that you're committed to them, it's that you don't know how to get out of them. And that's the big opportunity for any one of us. So it says, now that those behaviors have become more harmful than helpful, you want to abandon them. Well, I mean, we all know that there are probably things we do that are less than optimal, less than healthy, less than constructive, less than driving us toward our optimal outcome. But she contests that the reason why we can't move forward is because we keep applying the same old formula to a new level of life. Well, true, we are repeating ourselves. It's estimated that we're 95 to 98% the same yesterday as we are today, which means our level of thinking, once you get past like the age of 30, 95 to 98% of your thoughts today are the same as yesterday, which means if you think that 2 to 5% of your thoughts are going to get you out of this conundrum you're in, this pattern you're committed to, according to Emily, then you're pretty much SOL, because her idea is like change the formula and get a different result. Well, yeah, I mean, that's possible if you are aware of the pattern. But if you don't know how to ask a different question, what I like to say is ask different questions, ask better questions, get better answers. So I take issue with her idea that you're stuck only because you're committed to a pattern. I would argue that Einstein had a better idea that when he said we can't solve our problems with the same level of thinking that got us into that problem. So if we thought a certain way and that created a problem for us, we can't use that same way of thinking to get us out of that problem. It just doesn't work. So Einstein had a brilliant idea, right? You can't use the same level of thinking. However, if your subconscious brain is driving your thinking, your patterns, 95 to 98% of the time, and your conscious brain, your new thoughts, are 2 to 5%, how can any one of us get out of that? That's a challenge, which is why we use QNRT. Change the way we think about ourselves, change the way we think about our world around us, change the way we see ourselves in relation to others. It's really important. So Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about our personalities determined by, our personal reality is determined by our personality. So if we don't change the way we think, act, and feel, which is what determines your personality, you'll never change your personal reality for anything. So you must change the way you think, act, and feel, according to Dr. Dispenza. I think he's a pretty smart dude. So rather than saying you're stuck and you're committed to a pattern like Emily Marushin says, then you want to consider that you can't see past it. It's not that you're programmed like a robot, you're programmed by the experiences you've had in life. And when you think about that, it's because you've been indoctrinated into the way of thinking that your parents had and your grandparents had and all your elders, your older siblings and stuff like that. That stuff is your hardwiring, or it's more your software for the first 7 years of your life, and that determines sort of the trajectory you go with life. So I would suggest you get a checkup from the neck up, and that's either with QNRT or with EMDR or Psych K or Emotion Code or emotional CPR, or any one of a number of different methodologies that you could possibly use. I'm not a big proponent of talk therapy, but some people benefit from it, because I don't think that we benefit from talking about our problems. I think we need to see ourselves differently and feel differently about ourselves in order to change anything. I use QNRT with myself and with other people because I find that the most effective. So rather than accepting that you're committed to a pattern that you can just opt out of, it's more nuanced to that, more complicated than that. So challenge yourself to understand the belief systems that you've learned to adapt to based on your upbringing. I suggest you journal in order to identify the patterns, like your patterns with your partner, the patterns with your child, the patterns with your coworker, the patterns with whoever it is in your life. So you can write down what you think the pattern is and then start identifying it and then start seeking out help how to break that pattern. Okay? Because if you don't change the way you think, act, and feel, nothing's going to change about your life. And the same level of thinking that you found today will find yourself tomorrow and find yourself the next day. It's like Bill Murray and Groundhog Day. So identify the pattern, get some help, break the pattern, and move on with your life. All right? You guys have a fantastic rest of your Sunday evening. We'll see you tomorrow for the Daily Insights. Have a wonderful evening. Bye.